I don't know, I might be biased personally, but when I think about great comedians, I think about Jews. I gotta be frank, maybe biased. But I think of Groucho, and we have Jerry Seinfeld, and great Jews, Borat, look at that, Mel Brooks, Wilder, Seth Rogen, who the heck is that guy? There he is, there he is. He's a Boy Scout, as you know, Boy Scout outfit. Now, the question is, though, if the topic is joy and laughter, what does Judaism say about joy and laughter? So let's see what the Jewish sources say about joy and laughter. And let's start with the wisest of all men, King Solomon. What did he say about joy and laughter? This is what he says in Ecclesiastes. I said to myself, come now, I will mix one with joy and experience pleasure. Behold, this too was vanity. Of laughter I said, it is mingled. Now good. And concerning joy, what does this accomplish? Yeah, King Solomon is not opening at the punchline. Don't get that idea. So this is not looking so good here. King Solomon does not seem to be so into our topic of joy and laughter. Well, let's see what the Talmud has to say. What does the Talmud say is the view of joy and laughter? Let's see, maybe it gets better. Let's see. Abaye was sitting before Rabbah, who observed that he seemed very merry, very happy. He said, it is written, and rejoice with trembling. And to him, milk, I'm wearing tefillin. Now, this is a little bit of a bizarre interaction. It's kind of like you get pulled over by a cop, and he says, you were speeding, and you say, but I'm wearing boxers. Like, I don't see the connection here exactly. You're being too happy, and I'm wearing tefillin. It's weird. It's weird. And what's even stranger is like, why is he against him being happy? What's wrong with him being happy? Well, let's see what the Talmud says for a minute. It gets better. Let's see. No, makes sense. Woo, it's a long one. Okay. Rabbi Ingber said, is forbidden for man to fill his mouth with laughter in this world? Oh no! Because it says, then in the future our mouths will be filled with laughter and our tongue will be filled with singing. When will that be? At a time when they say among the nations, the Lord has done great things with these. This is the Shir HaMa'alos, the song that we sing before the grace after meals, and it says, in the future we'll be happy and laughing, which means now it ain't so great. Now listen to this. It was related to Rish Lakish that he never again filled his mouth with laughter in this world, after he heard his saying from Rabbi Yochanan's teacher. So Rish Lakish is now the life of the party. This is not the guy wearing the lampshade at the end of the party. It's not him. So this is not looking so good. This seems to be a little bit depressing, and you're like, we're in for a long night, huh, Cliff? This is going to get worse. So let's make it a little bit better here. Let's go back to what the wisest of all men, King Solomon, said in the same book, Ecclesiastes, Kehilla. He seems to say the opposite of what he said before, which helps to be the wisest of all men. You can contradict yourself. That's not a problem. So here he goes. And I praise joy. Oh, good. Here we go now. King Solomon's fixing it up for us a little bit here. And I praise joy, for there is nothing better for man under the sun than be merry, and that will accompany him in his toil the days of his life that God gave him under the sun. Ooh, it's getting better. King Solomon seems to say that joy is a great thing.
Only
joy
while
is
you're
something
working.
to strive for. What's that?
If you're working, you can be happy.
Well, yeah, that kind of talk. Right. If you're unemployed, I understand it. But otherwise, now, so that is what King Solomon says. It's getting better. It seems happiness is making a comeback. Let's see now what God himself says in the Torah. Okay? How important is happiness? In the book of Devarim, it says that the Jews may have problems in the future. What's the cause of the problems? Because you do not serve the Lord your God with happiness. and with gladness of heart when you have the abundance of everything. The most important thing, God is saying, is to do what you're doing with joy and happiness. Now, ladies and gentlemen, I don't know if you've been in Talmudic training schools before, but this seems like a direct contradiction over here. One place it says that joy, what does it give you anyway? It gives you a headache. What's it good for? Another place says it's the most important thing in life. You have to be joyous, otherwise everything you're doing is meaningless if you're not doing it with a happy heart. Well, what's the answer? This is a complete contradiction. Let's see how the Talmud resolves it. Now, the Talmud says, then I pray. These are the verses of King Solomon. When he said he prays joy, it's referring to the joy of a mitzvah. There's joy that's created when you do a positive act. And if joy is said, what does it when it's negative, that's just no joy. That's just common street joy. There's two kinds of joy. The joy of doing a mitzvah and the joy of regular standard ones. And that's the explanation. Okay? This teaches God doesn't want you to be gloomy, this and that, but you should do matters of joy in connections with the mitzvah. So again, the Talmud seems to be resolving this by saying that there's two kinds of joy. One joy is regular, standard happiness. That's not so hard. But joy that you're doing in the action of a mitzvah, that's great. Now, I don't know exactly how that looks, because it looks a little strange to me. I think that if a person, a Jew, would be so schizophrenic. In one act, he's like happy, and one he's he's jumping up for joy. It would seem weird. I think that we already look kind of strange in the eyes of the world. We wear these black boxes on our head. Have you seen that? We sometimes go and kiss doorposts. You notice that one? Kiss on the doorpost. We do that. Sukkot time we shake this bizarre foliage. Did you see that one? What else did we do? Mumbling. That's a good one. Jews before and after meals and after the bathroom. What are you doing? And now what you're telling me is that we should do the following. When we're served a steak during the week, you should look like you've been run over by a truck. I gotta eat this. Oh, this is terrible. And then when you get a gefilte fish on Shabbos with a little yarmulke carrot on top, you're supposed to be jumping for joy. It's just weird. I don't understand. What does this mean? Regular joy, not so great. Joy of a mitzvah? Oh, now you're jumping up and down. What does this mean? I want to explain this. And it's a very, very deep idea. Here's what I believe the explanation is. Look at normally what happiness is defined by in people's minds. Almost every definition of happiness you know is a combination of lacking, I'm missing something, and I get filled. I'm hungry, I ate a steak, and I feel good. I feel happy. I feel content. I feel good. I had a good meal. That is not so hard. Because you know what? I hate to break the news to you. You're going to be hungry again soon. And you're going to be starting from scratch. Because that doesn't really last. All pleasure, all happiness that comes from a place of what you're missing, it's not eternal. It's a temporal thing that comes and goes, and therefore it's not so great. What is true happiness? Look at what the sages tell us, the mystics tell us an amazing thing. They say like this: real happiness is experiencing completeness and wholeness in yourself. That's what real happiness is. That's why when you do something positive in your life that helps you fulfill yourself, you feel a natural byproduct of joy. See, what you're feeling is, and this is what the mystics say, an amazing idea. They say happiness is feeling your own existence. You're alive. You're alive. And when you feel that, and you're doing things that increase that sense of yourself, you feel happy. you feel content. It's not transient. That's everlasting. Now, what happens though if you feel, my existence is kind of fleeting? What do you do then? Well, it's a very simple answer. The answer is the joy of a mitzvah. Now, what does a mitzvah mean? A good deed, right? Wrong. Doesn't mean that. Sorry. A mitzvah does not mean it. That is the simple translation. The deeper translation is as follows. A mitzvah is the word savta. Savta, the sages tell us, means a connection.
That was grandpa.
That's what it means. A mitzvah is an act that connects you to the infinite. It connects you to God. And therefore, what it means you have joy of a mitzvah, it means that what you're doing now is you're doing an act that's connecting you to your existence being eternal. It's not just you. You don't just die. You live forever. You're connected to the source. What greater happiness could that be? That's what they mean, the joy of a mitzvah. There's two kinds of joy. There's joy that people do in life, that they do things that, okay, they had a nice meal, this and that. That's fading. King Solomon said, it's nice, but it's not going to help you too much. But a real joy of a mitzvah, a joy of connecting to experience and actualizing yourself, that's the mitzvah, that's eternal. That's a real happiness. That stays forever. Okay, understand that. Now, that's good. We talk about joy. What about laughter? What about laughter? We didn't see what Judah said about laughter yet. Think they say laughter good or not good? Let's get a show of hands. Laughter good, you show of hands. Okay, laughter not good. Sometimes do this. Depends. There you go, good answer. Scholar answer. I want to share with you a very bizarre story in the Talmud. It's a great story. I love the story. It's a bizarre story. It's a story about a great rabbi. His name was Rabbi Yehuda. We call him Rebbe, the teacher. He was the leading rabbi during the time right after the destruction of the temple. He's the one who codified the Mishnah. He was a great rabbi. He was the guardian of the generation. Okay? He was the main man, and he prayed for the people. He guarded them. He made sure things were good. And he had a sort of a friend student, another great rabbi. His name was Bar Kapra. Bar Kapra was his friend, or a student younger than him. But Rebbe had a problem with Bar Kapra. See, Rebbe noticed that whenever he laughed, something bad happened to the world. Whenever he would laugh, he would notice that things wouldn't go good in the world. He'd have some trouble someplace. And he had a problem with Bar Kapra that he was a joker. This guy, this other rabbi, was a big joker. And Rebbe was concerned about that he would make him laugh. And the Talmud records the story. He says, listen, he says, you know what? Tomorrow, when you come to me to learn together with me Torah, I will pay you 400 measures of wheat if you don't crack me up. I said, really? Okay, you got a deal, fine. But listen, not your measures, mine. I pick the measure. How much? He said, okay, you got a deal. The next day, Bar Kapra comes, he brings a giant basket, okay? Giant basket. And he takes tar, and he puts tar on the whole inside so he can get his whole 400 measures of wheat, and not one seed should fall out. And he's all excited. And he takes it, and he goes up to Rebbe, and he wants to collect his 400 measures of wheat. And he takes the basket, and he goes, and he dumps it on his head. And he says, give me my wheat. And Rebbe looks at him, and he starts cracking up. Just dying on his face, just laughing. And he says, I'm not giving you any money, any wheat. You made me laugh. You promised to make me laugh. Just give me my wheat. Rebbe's cracking. He says, no, you don't get it. You blew it. You made me laugh, no good. Now, the story continues. Rebbe then is getting his daughter married. Oh, no, his son married. And he makes a big wedding, and he doesn't invite Bar Kapra. You know why he doesn't invite him? He's afraid he's going to make him lose it. He's afraid Bar Kapra's going to crack him up. So he invites a lot of people. It was a big, big wedding. And he was the leader of the generation. He invited thousands of people. He had a special hall that he had purchased for this thing. And Bar Kokhba is not invited. So Bar Kokhba goes and he takes some kind of marker and he writes graffiti on the wall of the entrance of this wedding hall. And he writes there, Rebbe spent 25 million bucks for this wedding and he didn't invite Bar Kokhba. This rabbi's pretty cool. I like this guy, right? It's good. So Rebbe goes over to him. Okay, so come to the wedding. Right. So now Bar Kokhba, it's a true story. He comes to the wedding, and he goes, before he comes to the wedding, he tells Rebbe's son-in-law, who's a very distinguished, wealthy man, he says, listen, I want to tell you something. You watch. By the end of this wedding, I'm going to have Rebbe dancing wildly in front of me, okay? And your mother-in-law is going to be singing like a bird. Okay, he tells this to the son-in-law. The son's a very distinguished, wealthy guy. And what happens is, they get to the wedding, and Bar Kokhba goes over to Rebbe. He says, listen, he says, very weird stuff. He says, listen, he says, I want to tell you, in the Torah, there are certain words for illicit relations. The word to'eva, and zima, and tevel, all these words. He goes to me and says, tell me, what did this word mean? What does the word zima mean? Rebbe gives an answer, says, that's not good, that's not good. He says, what does it mean? Says, I'll tell you what it means. Okay? But first, you got to get your wife to come here and pour me a cup of wine. She pours a cup of wine. She says, now you start dancing in front of me. And I'll tell you what it means. Rebbe wants to know. He starts dancing. And his wife starts going, the smart ladies do. That's exactly what she does. And Rebbe's dancing. What the heck's going on? And he tells him what it means. He says, Zima, for example, means illicit relations or promiscuous woman is a short acronym for Zema. Who is this kid? Okay, she's prison. Wow, that's pretty good. He goes, you want another one? And he says, yeah. I'll tell you what this one means. Okay, tell me. He says, no, bring your wife back, another cup of wine, and start dancing. Does it again. Does it a third time. And basically, Rebbe is sitting there dancing, and his wife is doing to the point where the son-in-law gets disgusted, and he says, I'm out of here. And he walks out, he's like, I can't stand this anymore. And the scene ends in the Talmud with the great Rebbe dancing, and his wife in front of Bar Kokhba. That's the story. Now, ladies and gentlemen, that's a weird story. I mean, let's be frank, let's be honest, it's a weird story. Come on in, Becky.
Sorry, Rabbi, could you start from the beginning? That's a great joke.
Very good.
We just caused
So now, it's a very weird story, right? So tell me, what do you not like about, what's weird to you about this story? Let me hear. What's strange about this story? Talk it all. What do you think is weird about the story?
He should have met the son-in-law.
We'll wager there. Anything that bothers you about the story? What's
his first answer? Who is this kid? That's what he found so intriguing.
Yeah, I like the word, like zima, zuma. What is this kid? And he did it for all the words. Every word he showed him, like why it was especially this language. But I got a lot of problems with the story. Yeah.
Disrespectful his Rebbe on a certain level?
Seems disrespectful. He once again Steve's sitting there dancing and his wife's talking. And look a fool a little bit. Yeah.
It's kind of laughing at. There was like some manipulation.
Yeah, he's looking to get him to do this.
So we're laughing at somebody, or everybody might be laughing at someone.
Right, and this is the leader of the generation. This is the guy who will never laugh. Yeah. And flipped upside down. Right. What is that whole analogy? Obviously, he was trying to make him laugh. Well, what is that whole story about the basket? Why does he do that? Why just get your wheat and go home? He had to make him laugh. He couldn't control himself. He had to dump it over his head. It's weird. What was he trying to say with the basket story? It's weird. Also, why does Rebbe not want to laugh so much? What's wrong with laughing? The bad and good laughter. Okay. What's the bad laughter?
the laughter at somebody else's expense.
It's an expense, okay. Escapism,
So that, yeah.
okay.
Somebody else is the butt of the joke.
The Rebbe's nervous about it, yeah.
Well, I guess silly dancing for the sake of learning something of Torah is the good kind of laughter.
I guess so.
Yeah,
Yes,
but
sir.
for dancing wasn't,
What's that?
But the means of for dancing wasn't the joy of laughter of Torah. It was,
He was just dancing. It was the wedding, but he somehow, you gotta understand, it's at his son's wedding. He got him out. Somehow he got Rebbe, who doesn't want to laugh for some reason, he got him up and dancing, and the wife going, "Lee." And it doesn't sound like these people would have done that otherwise. Like he's trying to do something, Bar Kokhba. He's trying to do something.
Trying to break through some kind of
Trying to break
barrier,
something.
some kind of barrier.
So let's try to understand. You have an idea there?
It also seems like he won.
He won.
Like it wasn't like he won, and then Rebbe lost.
Right. The way I understand the story, he got his point. He won the day. I think he got the point of course. So this is what I think. Rebbe was the guardian of the generation. He knew things were serious. He knew that if he took his mind off of the people and their good, things negative could happen. He prayed for them. He was the guardian. He was the person. And therefore he said, I can't take my mind off of this seriousness for 1 second. And Bar Kokhba said, no. He said, listen, I understand that you are the guardian of the people. But if you act with joy in your own life, it's going to affect everything. It's going to be better for us. And this is what I think the basket was. A basket, listen to this, this is my idea, I think this makes a lot of sense. Thanks to Michael from the discussion last night. So he says like this, wheat is the sustenance of life, right? It's a staple. So what is Rebbe saying? He's saying, listen, I am the source of making sure everyone's successful and they have their sustenance. I'm going to give you some of that if you're on guard with me, you help me, you don't make me laugh. And Bar Kokhba takes this basket, which is big, fill it up with all the blessings. And he thumps it on his head and says, listen, there's no place to fill it if you don't have joy. If you're not having joy, the basket can't hold anything. That's what he's saying to him. And what's he saying to me afterwards? He wants to move Rebbe to a place of singing and dancing. Because he realizes those are the mediums with which a person could grow. Look here. Look at this amazing thing with the Hebrew language here. Song, singing, shir. It's the same letters as yashar. It makes you straight. It makes you go straight in the right way to God. When you have the joy of singing, and yasur means to remove. It removes any negativity that you have. He's getting him to sing. Look what else he's doing here. Zemer, the other word for song. Zemer means song, but also means to cut away. A lot of times in life, things bog you down, and you're getting negative. When you start to sing, and you have song and joy, you cut away the negativity, and you start to move towards closeness to God. That's what happens. Same thing here. Rekud. Rekud means dance. You got to dance. Right? Dancing gets you out of your materialism. It moves you. And that's why dancing is also the word to sift. It's sifting away the negativity. That's what it does. Amazing thought here. And that's why if you look, I just put it over here for you to show you that Rikud, dancing, the letters of all of them are the letters that precede song. The dance that brings to song. Okay? Look here, Zemer. The word for Zemer, for song, is preceded by the letters for Kol, for voice. These things are the things that bring out happiness. They precede one another. You start to dance, you get out of your mundane physicality, you start to sing, you get joy, and that brings you straight to where you have to go. That's why we do it at the Kehilla. People know me. Why do I always dance and sing? Why do it? Because this is the way we have to do it. This is the Jewish way. This is what I think Bar Kokhba was trying to show to Rebbe. He wanted to get him to sing and to dance. And now you're going to hear Torah when you're singing and dancing. And your Torah is going to be different. And I think he won. I think he got him. He got him actually, he moved Rebbe and showed him that, yes, you're the guardian of the people, but you got to go and let that joy in, experience it. That's going to make it better for all of us. That's what I think. Questions, comments, thought I said so far. How to make sense, what to make sense?
I think it's interesting because I think in the world, like that fear around feeling, you know what I mean? That
Right.
that back even then, like you're describing, that if I do feel, then I'm going to have to let my guard down, and feeling will not allow me to actually, to it just kind of it's that protection. Like if I don't feel, then I don't have to. I mean, there was a Seinfeld episode, and it was like where he feels, so it's Jerry Seinfeld, and he starts to feel everything. Like everything comes when you start to feel, right? If you start to laugh, then you can actually cry, and you can actually be angry. And I think he was like learning how to be angry again. If you actually feel, then all this, then the whole well is allowed to like release and let go and come back.
I want to tell you an amazing teaching that our sages taught us. This is fantastic. When you go and you want to plant something in the earth, you first need to plow, right? The earth has to be soft to go and to get the seed so the seed could grow. The mystics say the following. They say it's the same thing for you in life when you want to grow. The heart's got to be soft. And they say there's two ways the heart's really soft. One you don't want and one you do want. One way the heart gets soft is when, God forbid, lo aleinu, shouldn't happen to anyone, people go through sufferings in life, then they're soft. They feel beaten. They feel soft. They've had a hard time. It's been difficult. And then they hear something and they can make change. They can grow. That's one way. We don't want that way. The other way is joy. Simcha. If you soften your heart by joy, then what happens is, then you can plant the seed and you're going to grow. And what's an amazing thing here is, this is a fantastic idea, this is not only talking about the joy of the holiest joy. There was a Talmudic teaching that says the rabbis, before they would teach their lessons, they would crack a joke first, right? Those who come to the shul know that's the original, there's a story told, right? Every time before I speak, I say, there's a story told. That means a joke. That's the sign of the joke is coming, right? That was the problem at Effie's wedding when I said there's a story told, but a joke was coming. It was the wedding, it wasn't the I just said the story told, so I crack it up. But that was the original case. Why? Because the truth is that even when the joy comes not from the special super duper holy place, just the joy of a joke, of loosening up, that if you connect that and you bring that to something holy, that joke, that laughter is positive. How much more so if you do it through the joy of knowing who is rich, one is happy with his portion. If you see in life you're connected, God gives you what you need, that joy is, of course, that's going to move you. But even using the joy of a joke is a positive thing when it opens up your heart and you can grow. And that's what Bar Kokhba was telling Rebbe. He was saying to listen, do it any way you want to do it. Sing, dance, but you gotta say, Rebbe was a unique character because he saw himself as the guardian of the people. He thought he couldn't let his guard down. He decided that he had to do it. Bar Kokhba is saying is that even though that's true what you're saying, but still, there's another quality that's going to change everything for all of us when you let the joy come into your actions. That's what God said. You must do that. We were sent into exile because we did not serve God with joy. It means, listen what that means. It means you could be doing all the right things. Let's fill in the middle of do everything. Non-stop. But you're miserable. Get out of here. Then you're asleep. You missed the whole boat. The whole point is that, wait a minute, I'm connecting with the source of existence. I feel that. That's me. I'm feeling my own existence here. I'm not lacking. I have everything. I'm happy. I'm eternal. Connected to God. That's joy. And if you don't have that, then you're doing motions, not doing the real thing.
So two things. First of all, I love the fact that you say you don't just use happiness, but you use content, because I find happiness is like happiness or sadness, just a feeling, it's emotion. So I love the fact that you contain joy and content and fulfillment. So thank you on that. But on the first slide, it said there's no laughter in this world, or there's no happiness. Or
We're going to get to that.
So
We're gonna get
is
to that
there
right
laughter?
So we're going to get to that right now. We're gonna get right now. Beautiful. I'm gonna get, no, you said that. No, you remind me of my next step. I appreciate it. Thank you. I'm going to get right there, yes. Another question?
So when he said if I laugh something bad would happen, is that like a superstition?
No, he was just that he understood. You got to imagine that like you're,
He's like the security guard.
yeah, you're the person who has to watch. You know, you have to be praying for the nation. He is the person on call, and he was. So he says, I can't take my eye off the ball. If I do, then who's going to pray for the people? He saw himself in that role, and he was. The truth is, safe to say, when he was alive, there weren't tragedies. During his period of time, he did protect in a supernatural way. Things were good. Even at the time of the Roman persecution, he was best friends with the Roman emperor. The Talmud calls him Antoninus. He's probably the person who identifies Marcus Aurelius. Marcus Aurelius was one of the Roman emperors were not usually the highest spiritual beings. Some of them married their horses, some of them married, some played fiddle. They were like so. But there was one guy that you could see was considered a scholar and a righteous person. His name is Marcus Aurelius. And the Talmud records that he would study with Rebbe. He had a secret tunnel. He used to come and learn with Rebbe, and he taught him. And the Talmud records the discussions between the emperor of Rome and this rabbi. So he protected the Jews during this time. Things were actually better during this time. So that's why he felt he couldn't let his guard down.
What about the son-in-law? I mean, he was worried that the guy would that something
Right.
bad would happen if he laughed.
Right.
So what happens with the son-in-law?
I don't know. I guess maybe hopefully he learned his lesson. I don't know. The son-in-law left. The way Talmud says he couldn't take it anymore. He just had seen enough. But I'd like to imagine that afterwards, when he got older, he spoke to Rebbe. Rebbe said, "Yeah, it's the right thing." And he couldn't hear. Maybe it was too hot.
It seems perhaps you have to go beyond words. That there is a point that words can take you, and that if you are going to hit Atzilut, you need to have the dance, the song that goes beyond the words.
That's right. Very, very often, that's one of the aspects of why dance and song is so important. It's why the song in the Torah, when you see it, doesn't appear straight written. It skips spaces, right? It has spaces in between. Because there's a lot more said than in the words. There are things that you say beyond. Sometimes you try to, if you ever had an experience, like you had a life-changing experience, you had a transcendental moment, you were watching a sunset, I don't know what happened, and you try to describe it to somebody else, you sound like an idiot. You just sound like, and then I saw life! You can't put it in words, you can't. You just say, because there's certain things, when you limit it in words, that becomes the problem, 100%. That's why dance and song is so powerful.
So we're in the 3 weeks now leading up to Tisha
We're
B'Av.
going to get to that too.
Okay.
Okay, good. So now, let's get back. So now, all right. Let's get to the other question that was just asked, that Tanya just asked. So, I guess Judaism likes joy. They like a certain kind of joy. Using laughter is good too. But there's a problem here, which that we saw earlier, that although you could have unmitigated joy, it said not to have unmitigated laughter. It said your mouth shouldn't be filled with laughter until the future. Well, why not? What's wrong with laughter? I like a good laugh. We all like a good laugh. Seinfeld, right? Have you ever? Yeah. So tell me, I don't understand what is the problem with laughter. I want to try to explain here the deeper meaning of what laughter is. Okay? There is laughter, and Tanya said before, that's just escapism. All right, we're not talking about it. But there's a deeper laughter. Okay? And I want to try to explain this. It's an amazing idea. But when I say that joy is the product of the feeling my existence, my eternal connection. That's the source of joy. What laughter is the joy is in the heart. Laughter is the ultimate expression of that joy. It's at the moment where it comes to fruition. Okay? The feeling that's in the heart has a moment where it transposes and transforms to this moment where you're out of touch. Even when people are just laughing at a joke, you're not thinking about anything else. You're gone. In proper laughter, what happens is that it's the full expression, the connection that you have. The joy is in the heart. I'm connected to God. But laughter is now the ultimate experience and expression of that. How does that work? It works like this. Because joy and contentment are the feeling that I have. But what happens when I think that things are going one way? They don't look good. They look like I'm not connected. I'm not eternal. I'm not going to make it. And then it's flipped around in one moment. And all of a sudden I say, wait a minute, I am connected. I am here. That produces laughter. Even a good joke. Every good joke, the whole idea of a punchline is the contrast. Punchline is, you didn't see it coming. It's exactly the opposite of what you thought. Every one. Every good joke, that's the key. Okay? I remember this. I think I shared this with you one time before. I remember one time, there was a guy who was talking. He was a very pompous person. And he was angry. He was trying to make a point to me. And he took this piece of paper, and he says, and that's why I'm saying I'm right now. He slammed the paper down, and he's a pompous guy, and he gets up to walk out the door of this building we're in. Now, he goes to walk through the glass door, but he didn't realize that they had polished and shined the glass really well. And the door was actually closed. And he just went, boom, hit. And I did not want to laugh. I did not. But I couldn't help myself. It was impossible. The contrast between the pompous guy, slamming into the glass door, it was just too funny. It was just a contrast. I was trying not to laugh. But it was funny. It was funny. Now that is a good joke. Now here is real laughter. Where is the first place in the Bible where the word laughter appears? Yitzchak. Why Sarah? Isaac.
Yeah,
She's like, Isaac! It's like in the original Rocky, it became Adrian afterwards. First it was Yitzchak! So Yitzchak is the first, now Yitzchak means laughter.
No, when Sarah heard she was going to have a child.
Right.
Right. And that's why, right. The whole scenario, that's why he's called Isaac. All of it in the end is a good laugh. The question is what kind of laugh it was. That was the issue of Sarah. But the bottom line, it was a good laugh. And I'll show you it was a good laugh. Because Yitzhak means laugh. Okay? That means the first born Jew in history, the pinnacle of Jewish continuity, is named Joke Boy. Hey, Joke Boy! Imagine that kid in school. He must have had a hard time. Huh? There comes Joke Boy. Right? Okay. Today's social service would take the kid away. J word. There's no end to what it is right now. You called the kid Joke. Yitzchak, you named your kid Joke. Do you know what this is? I don't know if this is clear. You named your kid. You couldn't call him Timmy or something. Timothy, Jimmy, something. Joke Boy. That's what you named him. Why do you call him Joke Boy? The answer is because Isaac is the ultimate true laughter. Look at the words Yitzchak. You flip the words around, it goes Kates, Chai. Kates is the end, and Chai is life. Yitzchak is a joke. A holy joke. Here's the joke. You thought life was over. You thought the Jewish people were gone. Sarah's 90. Abraham's 100. That's pretty old to have kids. You think it's finished. What happens? Where you think our life ends, that's our beginning. You thought we weren't connected to God. You thought that this was the end and we were not eternal. Surprise! Joke boy's here! That's what you're saying. Yitzchak. That's the ultimate laughter. And that's what this woman, she's not screaming out Yitzchak, and she's not screaming out Stella either. That's not what's happening. What's she doing? She's having a baby. Now, it's the same idea. When a woman is having a baby, if you walk in and you've never heard of what birth is, and you say, you seem to be having an interesting experience here. This is what it looks like. She's in transition. It actually looks like she's dying. The Rambam, Maimonides, explains what the baby looks like. The baby, before he's born, he's got openings in his heart chamber, his lungs are collapsed, he can't live in the world. In 1 second, it all switches around. The thing that you think is death is actually life. That's funny. That's the greatest laughter in the world. True laughter is when you think you're not connected and you see you are. The woman, I don't know if you've experienced this, if she ever has done this, I've seen this, that after a woman gives birth, she might start laughing. She's laughing. Now it's true, I'm not in the woman's head. She may be laughing saying, joke's on you, we ain't doing this ever again. I don't know. But I think that my rationale makes more sense. She's laughing because it's the ultimate experience. On one hand, she was going through these changes, and I'm not here. And then it's transformed, and it's the source of life. That's what laughter is. That is the Jewish basis for true laughter. See, it's all like that. Haman wants to destroy us. What does he do? He builds the gallows to hang Mordechai. What happens? He's hung on those same gallows. Pharaoh wants to go and kill the Jewish boys so they won't have the savior of Israel. What does he do? He raises Moses in his own house. You see, what happens here is, it's not just you went through something negative and then it came out good. The ultimate laughter is when you realize the negative thing you went through was precisely what you needed to get to the redemption. That's the laughter. That's Yitzchak. That's the joke. Yeah.
How do you realize that?
Ah, very good. That's a good question. We'll get to that in 1 second. This is what he said. We sing, right? Song of Ascent, when the Lord returns, the returnees to Zion, should be like dreamers. Then our mouths will be filled with laughter. You know why? Because what happens when we come back to Zion at the end, then we say, you know what? You know what? Everything that we went through was like a dream. It was like, there was a reason for it, but we realized that all the problems that what we went through led us to this day. That was the purpose of it. The purpose of the negativity was the redemption in the end. Then we start laughing. And that's the answer to your question.
So if things are not going well for you, you should just say, well, eventually.
So, that's exactly, I'm going to answer your question. Your question exactly right. You see, that's the answer why your mouth can't be filled with laughter fully now. The reason is because in this reality, you're never going to see that completely. You know, you have a moment, you have a birth, you have the story of Purim. You have times in your life where you can laugh because you could see, wow, this is great. What I went through has a purpose. But the reason why you don't fill your mouth with laughter in this world is because then you're missing the boat. Joy you could have fully. Laughter you could use. But if it's abandonment in laughter, then what you're saying is that it's all been solved already, and it's not been solved. We're still on this dreaming aspect. We have not completed the process. We're in the process. You should laugh. You should be joyous all the time. You should laugh in a certain aspect. But to have abandonment in laughter would mean that it's done, that we've already seen it, and we have it. It's not all done yet. And so, next one, I'll take your question. Yeah.
But laughter, I think, is something that's very spontaneous reaction to something, and it's like it's like you hear a joke or somebody says something, and it inspires some aspect of your
Right.
intellect,
that makes you can't help like a sneeze.
I agree. I agree. So what I'm saying is that normal good jokes have to do based on the contrast. The punchline, when I by the way, I shouldn't have to get in trouble now. When I pair my drasha, my speech on Shabbos, the longest time is on the joke. I shouldn't have to get in a lot of trouble here. Because in rabbi school I learned a lot, but they didn't teach me how to tell jokes, you know? So I had to think how to say the joke in such a way that it's going to be funny. So when I think about the joke, I'm going to leave parts out that you're not expecting the punchline. That's the surprise. That's why when the pompous person slips on the banana peel, it's automatically funny because of the contrast. But that's in terms of regular laughter. I'm talking about now spiritual laughter. Spiritual laughter is that joy is the connection. And the spiritual laughter happens when you think you're not connected, you're afraid you're not connected, and then at the end, all of a sudden, you realize through the whole process that it got you exactly where you were supposed to be. When the woman gives birth after transition, she's just cracking up. It's like, this is unbelievable. You know, when we come back to Zion, then we'll start cracking up. We'll be laughing. We'll say, wait a minute, everything we went through in all the history of the Jewish people makes perfect sense. And we'll laugh. It'll be a spontaneous response. Because it won't just be that we went through problems and now we're solving problems. The problems, the challenges, were exactly the mechanism we needed to get to the result. That's going to be fun.
So, for me, having worked in the hospitals or having worked at the with parents or kids who've just lost someone, who's lost somebody to cancer, who's kind of in a place in which I kind of was that clown meeting that family or meeting that individual who had just lost someone, and that place of tears and laughter, and how the peak of a tears and real sorrow turns into laughter. I'm still having trouble in the explanation, because I feel like there is that place is a release. I feel like there's a place of also not described by the joke, or not described maybe by the spiritual, but described by a place that is stuck. There's a place that's stuck there that you can't move forward anymore. That there's something that you're so stuck in, and there's nowhere else to go. That laughter also, and maybe there's an unexpected, like you've described in there, of course, because I'm a clown in a hospital. That's obviously already a paradigm of the unexpected, something I just,
yeah.
It doesn't, and of course you have to meet there, but I just wonder, in my exploration of teaching emotional connection and watching people go from the toughest experience of a funeral where you hit these places and then it turns into that release of laughter.
I think that's what you said before, and I agree with that. Remember you said about plowing a field. It's a certain place where a person is their heart is soft. But a person's going through great troubles all in. So we're not supposed to, I mean, it's different for you. The fact that you could put on Killen's a clown, does clown act. I don't know if you call it clown officially, but you does juggling, clown things. So you're in that role where you have the beauty of being able to get away with it.
Gotcha.
Most people, when they see someone going through suffering, you're supposed to be silent and be there for the person in their downtime. They can't see. The Talmud says if you walk into someone's house of mourning and you say, you know, everything is for good, you're an imbecile. You're not a righteous person. You're a jerk. Okay, that's what Talmud says. You don't walk in there and start saying, you know, I spent a few years in rabbinical school and it's all for good. No, you're just an idiot. Don't say that.
Right.
You're supposed to be there with the person. That's what you're supposed to do. It says the way to act in the house of mourning is silence, meaning you're supposed to be there for the person. Okay? You're not supposed to. They're not supposed to be expected to go and see. We can't even see it in a normal situation. When we come back in the end of history, we can see everything was for good. A person going through suffering can't see it. They can't. They have to just be with them in their hard times. Now you have an advantage to go and to deal with extreme emotions. That a person who's going through that, their heart is soft already, they want to laugh, they want to feel connected, they want to feel a place of an active sense of joy. Even if it's not ultimate joy, it's something. And I think that you have the ability to be able to do that. All right,
Sorry.
Just pertaining to what you're saying, you will recall that when you walked in a minute after my mother passed away, our entire family was laughing.
Yeah.
It was really embarrassing, but I'm still, torn about that moment, but what you're saying makes sense.
Look, the whole,
Sorry, I don't mean to-
just to say this, I mean, when your parents passed away, it was one of the most spiritual experiences I think that anyone here has had. When your father passed away, and we were all singing Shabbos songs there, and the whole thing was that's the people that they were. So the Talmud says that people, the souls live in different ways. So that was they were able to do. Now let's get back to this point here. So this is the idea now. Now we're sort of still in exile. The word for exile is galut. That's exile. But look at the word, it's amazing. The word galut, exile, is the same lit galut, to reveal. The purpose of the exile is not to stay down. It's to reveal something greater. Okay, the Talmud says we go into exile and converts come. We bring in sparks of holiness. It's to reveal something. And that's why amazing. Look at the word galut, exile, and look at the word redemption. It's the same word. Golah is exile. It's the same exact word, exile and redemption. There's only one difference. Anyone see the difference? Aleph. Exile and redemption is the same exact word. But the Aleph is different. Aleph stands for God. The word Aluf means the great one. It talks about God. That's why in the Hebrew alphabet, every letter has a sound except for the Aleph. The ineffable Aleph. The numerical value of what? 1. So, Galut is the exile. You want to reveal it. But then you see afterwards, when you get to the Gula, all you're doing is you're finding the one that was always there. Look at the same idea here. We are now, as Menachem said, in the month of Av. This is, and I gave this discussion, on the saddest time of year. On Friday is the beginning of the month of Av, which is the saddest period in Jewish history. We minimize happiness and joy. Now, the month of Av is, they want to know, I don't know if it was this year, but it's usually in August. What is the constellation of August? Anyone know?
Leo.
It's a sign. It's Leo. It's lion. The Talmud says that the month of Av is the lion. The temple was called the lion. God is called the lion. And there was a negative king, physically human being king called the lion. His name is Nebuchadnezzar. He destroyed the temple. Listen to what it says here. The lion came in the month of the lion and destroyed the lion in order that the lion come in the month of the lion to rebuild the lion. That's a bunch of lions. Now, what does this mean? What does this mean? So the word for lion here was Aryeh. Aryeh has a numerical value, gematria, of 216. In Hebrew, every letter has a value. Aleph is 1, Resh is 200, Yud is 10, Hey is 5, it's 216. Gevurah, which is strength and power, restriction, is the same numerical value as lion. Okay? The month of Av is a month of judgment. The lion. The lion is the same as power. But if you think about it, it's called gematria. The word chesed, kindness, is a numerical value of 76. 8, 60, and 4, 76. Multiply that times 3. The first temple, the second temple, and then the third temple, you understand it's the same as power. Meaning, the reason why the power and the constriction and hiddenness of the month of Av is not to hurt us. It's to bring out the good. That's the most bizarre thing. Think about it. You know what the name of the month is? Of the harshest month of the year? It's called Av. Does anyone know what the word Av means?
Father.
Father. The word Av means father. That's not an accident. It's because when the father punishes the child, it's not to punish him, it's to teach him. That's the whole process here. That's what we end over here.
It's like fast.
Actually, one last gematria. if you think about, go back, so I'm not sure the answer yet. If you think about the animal in the Garden of Eden that was the epitome of negativity, what would it be? The snake. The snake. And that's an amazing thing. Nachash, the snake, has a miracle value of 358. Just to show you here, Nachash and Satan, the force of negativity, it's the same letters, except for a chet and a chet, which spells the word sin. Okay, it's also the letters of the month, of last month and this month too, right now. But Nachash, which is negativity, is balanced by this concept of Mashiach. Mashiach means the concept that one day God is going to bring us to a point of redemption and clarity. So Mashiach has the same value of Nachash. This is the value. This is what it says here. It says, in the future, Yismach Hashem Masah. In the future, God will rejoice. In the future, with His people. And that's why the word Yismach, rejoice, is the same letters as our dear Mashiach. Same exact letters. Why? Because what's happening here is that we are supposed to feel the joy. That's what we got to feel at all times as much as we can. Okay? Laughter, you should use whatever way you can to go into experience and bring it out further. And that's what we have to do to serve Hashem properly, to really feel that joy. Laughter in its ultimate sense is not here yet. It's not here in its ultimate sense here. Until we go through everything we go through. But at the end, that will be the ultimate laughter. The ultimate laughter is happening. And if you know it in your head, then it softens all the challenges that we have. The month of Av, the month of difficulty is here. This is this time of year. But the whole purpose of it is for the positive. That's why the famous Jewish teaching, what day is the Mashiach, the Redeemer of Israel, what day is he born on? He's born on the 9th of Av. He's born on the day of the destruction. Because the destruction is for the purpose of redemption. The 9 days are the 9 months of the gestation period that's supposed to come out. That's what we're in right now. The negative is not negative. The negative is to bring us to the positive. That's the function, that's the joy, and that's what we're trying to accomplish. Questions, thoughts, ideas, comments? No question? Simple?
So we should be disappointed if we're not going through trouble because we're not being prepared for the good that's going to come?
Well, I don't want to build on last year's thing, but we are going through challenges right now as a nation and otherwise. So we just, the things are, very heavy in the news right now. So those are trials and tribulations. And, God gives us respites in history. I'm talking about the global Jewish history has had a lot of ups and downs. And we always have ups and downs. And, thank God we've had an up period, for 60 years. And it should continue. But there are ups and downs. In terms of the Jewish historical evolution, that's what we're talking about. And we still see these processes. We see it in France, we see it in other places, and that's what we're going through. So we still will get to that point of clarity. Yeah.
Rabbi, can you address, I know you were saying that we're not getting the ultimate laughter right now, but there were concerns mentioned in the Talmud about laughter. I don't know if that helps us to get to our ultimate point, but what were they worried about?
No, so I said, so Rebbe was nervous that he as the guardian couldn't lose control. That's what he was worried about. Generally, we said laughter is fine. I told about like complete laughter in the ultimate sense to see that everything bad was a vehicle for good. That you can't do because it's not, you don't live that way. There's no one here has gone, look, I always tell people, if you're older than 17, I think everyone here is older than 17. If you're older than 17, what's that? Yeah. If you're older than 17, you probably could find a situation in your life that was negative when you were going through it, and later on turned out to be good. Okay? When you broke up with that person, it was the end of the world. And then you're like, oh my gosh, I would have married that person. Oh gosh, you got fired from the job. Oh, I'll never get another job. And that led you to a better thing. Everyone that gets to a certain age, you could find some situation in your life that you went through that was hard, and later on you saw how that was the best thing for you, right? You all find something. You got to take that as a small analogy to the bigger situation. On big ones, it's very hard to do. We can't do it. We can't do it until the future. On big situations that are very difficult, we just know that somehow, some way, it's not for the purpose of hitting it, it's the purpose of healing. We know it. But to emotionally experience it is almost impossible. The best you can do is to know that the concept is true because you've seen it in your life. And say, just like it's happening now that seems negative, it's for a positive purpose. Just like it happened to me in this situation, it'll happen to me here. That's the best you can do because you can't. When a person's in it, you can't see it. Yeah.
So, forgive me, but I can't resist making this point.
Oh.
So anybody who comes to the Kehilla knows that this is a place of joy and laughter.
Right.
That's
right.
That's the point.
That's right. And that really is. And this is not a plug for sure, but it.
That was a spontaneous thought, Rabbi.
That was a pledge.
but that really. Some people say to me, "Why do I do that?" People sometimes are like why And some people are like, "Yeah, you're singing and dancing. Come on, get serious." But that's not the point. We're taking the Bar Kokhba road here. Basically, we have to go. And by the way, I want to tell you something. This is, I think, strange, but when the Hasidic movement begun, it was for this one. This is one of the reasons, and I think not a lot of people do it today because everyone's straightened out. But when the Hasidic movement started, they were jumping up and down, they were singing, and they were hugging, and that's what they were doing. And the mainstream Judaism said, whoa, what did these guys think? Happy pills? What's going on here? They didn't look right. They were a little nervous. Now everyone's become sedated, okay? So you walk into a Hasidic place, I don't see people hugging and jumping and dancing. I mean, I'm sure there are those that do. But that was the point. The point was to motivate themselves with the joy to be able to connect. And I think it's something that, and we do that on purpose because I think that's the way we're supposed to do it. Yeah. All right.
So what you're really saying is that Hashem wants us to be happy because we're connected to Him, even if we're going through a hard time.
Right. That's right.
Suffering.
Exactly right. The joy is to know you're connected. That's inside. The laughter is the expression of that. The things that you go through still show in the end that you're connected when you feel a true laughter, but the ultimate laughter is going to be in the future when you can see that full actualization.
When Tisha B'Av turns into a day.
That's right. That's why Tisha B'Av, the saddest day, becomes the happiest day. Isn't that crazy? That's so Jewish. That's so darn Jewish. It's just like the saddest day of the year is going to be the happiest day of the year because of the same exact concept. Yeah.
Happiness comes in drips and drabs. And you've got to grab it when you can.
I think that, in my humble opinion, I think we can make it also.
Mm-hmm.
I think we can make it. I think that this is going to sound, I don't know what, but I think it has to do with work. I think if we wait for happiness to come, it may not, drips and drabs, I think we can consciously create it. I think that has to do with perspective. You could sit and actually think about stuff. You could actually pick up a song. Do you know the prophets would start the prophets? They would bring musicians in to prophesy. They couldn't prophesy without the music. So they looked for it. They looked for a vehicle to connect. You could do it by thinking about what you have. I mean, this is one of the most powerful ideas. Who is rich? The one's happy with his portion. That means that it's hard when you're in it, but you realize that you don't got to finish the whole job. You got to do what you have to do, and that's the actualization of yourself. And therefore, you have what you need to do what you have to do. And if you actually believe that for a moment in life, that we have what we need, then we feel pretty happy. Like, yeah, I got what I need. So I think there are ways to motivate ourselves to be happy, to focus on what we do have, to create the perspective that we have, we need, to act happy. To act happy. I always tell you, it is very, whatever you do psychologically and physiologically will affect you. So, you know, and I told you this was an amazing story that there was a school that did a study in a mental hospital. They had students that pretended they were depressed. And they'd walk in, they'd say, "You're depressed." They admit them, they walk up to prison. They had to stop the study. You know why? Because 3 weeks into it, they all became depressed. Because if you walk around, you're depressed. You'll feel depressed. You can't walk around, "I am so depressed!" and feel depressed. It's not possible. If you start acting happy, you will probably be happy. That's another way to do it. So I think we have to create the sense of happiness, and then that can help us grow even further. Okay, any more words? All right, thank you all very much.
Yeah.